Hello, superstars. I have some clues for you on what our lab is going to be about today. Here you go. All right, superstars. I think my clues were a little too easy today. A ball, cleats, and a field. If you guessed we were going to do something that had to do with soccer, you're right. So I've been reading this book recently. It's called The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind, and it's part of the inspiration for our lab today. Listen to this paragraph. It says, "Usually before supper, my cousins gathered in the courtyard and played soccer. Since we had no money for a real ball, we would use plastic shopping bags that we called jumbos. We'd wad them together and tie them with a rope. They didn't have the same kind of bounce as a real soccer ball, but they still allowed us to play. All across Africa, children use the same jumbo balls." So, my inspiration came from this book, which you may really enjoy. I am. Also, the fact that September is National Soccer Month. And this week on Thursday, the 17th, it is National Make Your Own Ball Day. So all of those inspirations combined decided that this was the week we are going to design and create a soccer ball. Now, before we can actually create our own, I thought it'd be kind of cool to see how the professionals make the FIFA regulation soccer balls for like World Cup. Check out this clip from how it's made.
Sports companies are constantly competing with each other to design footballs which are rounder and faster than ever before. And although David Beckham might be able to tell you how to bang in a great free kick, if you want to know how a great ball is made, then you've got to go to a manufacturer. The outside of the ball is made from a sheet of foam. It's been coated in polyurethane, which will help to stop it from getting scuffed. It'll be attached to an inner layer next. So they prepare the foam by coating it in glue. They use a latex glue which is elastic. This will help the layers to stay together despite the strains of being kicked at 80 miles per hour. The sheets are then left on a rack until the glue becomes tacky. Next, they're going to join the two layers together. The foam's placed on top of the inner layer, which is made from a special fibre that will help the ball keep its shape. A worker uses a roller to press them together. Then the layers pass through a machine which applies pressure to the sheets, and they form a permanent bond. The foam gives the ball an explosive energy to make it fly off the boot. Image isn't just important for footballers, it's important for footballs too. The ball's design is put on using a screen printer. This machine punches out the shaped panels that will make the football. Each ball is made from 32 panels, 20 hexagons and 12 pentagons. A worker bundles them together into stacks to be sent off for stitching. It's all looking a bit flat at the moment, but the contents of this box will soon become 20 footballs. They are sewn together by hand. The stitcher will use 15 meters of thread per ball, and it will take him 3.5 hours to finish each one. He leaves a few panels unstitched so the ball can be turned the right way out. Then the inner tube gets put in and the ball can be completely sewn up. it's inflated and looks ready for the pitch, but there are a few more steps to go. This machine puts the ball under high pressure and heats it up to 70 degrees. It makes the ball even and perfectly round. Then there are a couple of checks that have to be done to make sure that it meets FIFA regulations. It needs to weigh between 420 and 445 grams, and the circumference has to be 69 centimeters. FIFA only allow 5 millimeters leeway. The factory only produces 750 balls a day. Hours are spent making each one to exacting standards. If only the England team spent as long practicing penalties, then maybe they'd hit the top corner a bit more often.
Hello, my Carlsbad superstars. I am out and about in Carlsbad, and look where I am, Soccer Loco, right here down by the Carlsbad outlet malls. And we're gonna go inside and do a little interview. We're gonna talk to the regional manager and ask her some questions about soccer and how STEM is involved right here in Carlsbad in our soccer world. All right, let's go. This is our local Carlsbad Soccer Loco. Kelly, can you tell me, how did Soccer Loco get started?
So this is a family-owned company. John and Tony Lococo, as you can see, it's called Soccer Loco. That stems from their last name. They have 4 kids that grew up in the soccer world. John was a coach growing up. He's always loved the game. He is a huge Barcelona fan, so are his kids. They opened this company about 25 years ago at this point. Started off small and turned it into a huge up down the coast sort of California company. We also work throughout the nations.
Well, tell me, how has STEM, science, technology, engineering, or math, changed the game of soccer over the last, say, 20 years?
So I do have to say, if you dive into kind of looking back on old photos of soccer players and the way that all the gear used to look, it was not dry fit, it was heavy, it was clunky, looked like it was almost handmade, because it was. Now today, you have the technology of dry fit into the apparel, fly wire, which is into the cleats to make them lighter. You have a sock form that kind of goes at the top of the cleat around your ankle for a snugger fit. You have different kinds of leathers now. You even have a synthetic material that almost breathes, that acts as a leather, because sometimes leather isn't always that great.
So can we take a look at some of your cleats? That would be...
So I'm going to show you, the first one I'm going to show you is in Adidas. So these cleats right here, this is one of the highest retailed cleats right now. This is the Predator. This just came out recently this year, and as you can tell, it's got a sock-like dynamic at the top, and it actually goes all the way down into the cleat, and this is what basically molds to your foot. The top right here, the reason why it goes higher is to help you actually put it on, because it is supposed to be so tight, and this is called a demon skin, and it actually is really, really lightweight. So as you can see, this whole part of this shoe is one piece. Then you go into the bottom, and the only thing they connect on to the bottom of this is going to be this panel, which is the front panel of the cleats, and then the back panel of the cleats. So really, if you take this cleat apart, include the insole, this is only 4 pieces. Whereas back in the day, they used to take this, stitch it onto this, stitch this onto this, and then add like a whole sole on the bottom. It takes away from all the heaviness that other cleats used to have, plus it's a laceless technology that helps for a better feel on the ball. So this isn't fly wire, this is called Demon Skin with Adidas, but Nike has introduced a fly wire to their cleat that helps them, I guess, lighten the shoe as well, so it's a little different. So this one, it looks almost similar to that one, except this one isn't laceless. This is the Superfly, it's one of the most popular cleats. Very similar with how they have it structurally. They kept their lining, but as you can see, it's still all one piece, and then molded into this cleat through here, which you can't see, is called a flywire technology, and it's almost crisscrossed all the way through here to keep it even tighter. I do have to say, I think Nike's is tighter than Adidas. Theirs is that sock technology. Here it's a flywire technology, and this is actually still a little lighter than Adidas. So a little bit different, but similar looking in that sense. Again, back in the day with these cleats, these were probably a good 2 pounds heavier at that point. The lace took up the whole boot, and they were actually all leather because that was the only thing they could get a hold of back then.
Yeah, but having one surface all along
Yep.
the front too probably gives you much better ball control.
Way better ball control, way better touch. You can just feel it this time all the way around. As far as balls,
Yes.
one of the newer balls that just came out is the Champions League ball. So these you'll see that just got released. This is actually the high-end ball. So this is the one that they actually play with. So with these, they actually have a special bladder. On the inside, it is a lighter bladder, and it actually looks like a little rubber bladder than you would see in the lower end ball. And so this one would actually be a little bit heavier. These are also stitched differently. They're stitched on one side of it, whereas these are all kind of stitched together on certain panels. This is actually flies better. You're able to turn it better with wearing those style cleats. You just have a better control with a higher end ball. In the middle, the lower balls that all the kids play with. The only difference between them is that they're just structured to last longer. When you play with the high-end ball, they're not structured to last that long. So, and then we have different sizes. So you'll go into a little itty bitty ball, size 3. So real tiny that you play with when you're first starting. Size 4, which is where you kind of, if you start club, that is the size you actually start with. You won't even start with size 3, but in OSO they start with size 3. And then size 5. And this is the highest, biggest ball. And you actually, in my opinion, working and playing in the soccer industry, always start with a size 5 ball. No matter what, you might have to play with a size 4 ball in the game, but size 5 is ultimately the size, so I recommend starting with that off the bat. And as far as apparel, if we go into apparel, if you look closely at some of these jerseys, sometimes they have a paneling on them, like this one. Or if you look at, if I can compare, we'll show a Mexico jersey. This is called a replica. What that means is it is not what the player's wearing. It is a replica of what they are wearing. Other than that, it would be called an authentic. So what the players are wearing right now is a recycled material that is almost has holes in it that you can see. I can find one right here. There we go. That you can touch and feel. And it's a tight fitting material, but it's also a dry fit material. And it locks in. Yes. And most of these jerseys, if you look closely, they all have a different paneling on the inside a lot of the time. And it's almost, like I said, you can almost see it see-through. Some clubs do like a special stitching on their jerseys. You can see Mexico added it into their sleeves. This is just one of the national teams. This is a current jersey for them right now. It's also a lot lighter and a different almost size than the other jersey. More expensive.
Okay. So it's not just shoe design that's changed to make things more accurate or ball precision. It's also apparel.
Yes.
How well the body can wick away the sweat, and players can be more efficient, and their endurance is better on the field.
Their endurance. It's a big thing for their endurance, especially in soccer players. The least amount of us feeling like we're wearing clothing, the better, because of how much we do in a game.
Awesome.
So,
are you a soccer player?
I was for my whole life.
Oh, but now you're dedicating your life to the soccer world.
Career, yeah.
Love
so
it.
that's a lot. That's the major changes, I think, in any of the engineering process of, the soccer world, and that's always changing.
Yeah.
So right now, this will stick for the next few years, and then something else will come out right after that.
Yep.
So yeah, so that's good.
Very cool. Thank you so much for taking time and sharing some of this expertise with us.
You're welcome.
Okay. Wow, I sure did learn a lot about how STEM is changing the sports industry, not just in footwear and ball production, but also in the clothing that athletes wear. So, for today's activity, you are going to be making a ball. Check out this short video. It may give you some ideas on what kind of materials you can use around your house to make your ball.
This September, U.S. Youth Soccer is teaming up with a group to help celebrate Youth Soccer Month and providing a creative way to give back to the soccer community. Join us on September the 17th for National Make Your Own Ball Day.
So this event is my favorite. We call it the greatest night of the year. It serves as a reminder, okay, to be grateful.
Well, you got a sweet tooth to kind of think of this kind of stuff. Candy ball.
This ball, you know, it doesn't really sometimes mean a lot to me. It might not mean a lot to you, but this sport and this ball means a lot to a lot of people, right? This is a joy for me. It's a love.
I made it out of cardboard and newspaper, and then I put paper bags around it, and milk cord and cut with bags and some duct tape.
I am Batman.
First, I took a stress ball and I wrapped it up in bubble wrap, and then
My name is Kate, and I made this ball out of newspapers and mustache duct tape. I made this one out of a bag of sand, bubble wrap.
And then after I had put the bubble wrap on it, I put it in like some Kroger bags.
It has a curly mustache and two big eyeballs like Mark, and I just painted it blue because that was the only color we had.
My favorite part about Make Your Own Ball Night is the mayhem.
One way to be happy in this life, right, is to be grateful and thankful. In soccer, we just show up and play and we love it. But this is a chance to slow down and think about how lucky we are, right? To live where we live, to have the amazing parents we have, to be able to go to the store and buy a ball.
We're here tonight because millions of people can't afford soccer balls, and soccer ball is like a universe sport. It shows you that other kids, this is how they make their balls because they can't afford to buy balls like we have. Because there are a lot of people that do not have balls like us. So we come here tonight to honor those.
I hope this video inspired you and gave you some ideas on what you could use to make your ball. I also want to give a big shout out to my friend, Mrs. Kaneko at Pack Rim Schools. She shared this video with me last spring. What a perfect tie-in to everything we're doing this week. So I have 3 challenges for you this week. If you'd like to do 1, 2, or all 3, that's awesome. Challenge number 1 is make a ball. Challenge number 2 is make a ball and create a new game to play. Write up the rules to your new game and turn them into your teacher. Challenge number 3. What is your favorite sport? Research how STEM has changed the game in the last 20 years. Write 3 sentences explaining what you found. It's time for you to get outside and go play with your new ball. I have a different kind of ball I feel like making now. These are no bake oatmeal energy balls. And you can mix in any of your favorite ingredients, maybe like M&Ms, or I don't know, you could do something crazy like Skittles. I like chocolate chips for sure. All right, so in here I added 1 1/4 cup oats, about 3/4 cup of chocolate chips, maybe more, 1/2 cup of peanut butter, teaspoon of vanilla, about 1/3 of a cup of sticky maple syrup. It could also be, let's see, maple syrup or honey. That would be good too. I added some flaxseed, just a couple tablespoons, and a very little bit of salt, like a quarter of a teaspoon. And then mixed it all up. And now I'm going to put it in the refrigerator for half an hour to get a little hard. And then I'm going to take it out and roll it into little balls, like maybe 2 dozen bite-size energy balls.